What is up, you guys? My name is Nick, and welcome to my channel, where I cover all things entertainment. Whatever you're watching, I'm making videos about. And each month, I'm taking a look at all of our favorite streaming services to find the best recommendations for you guys so you don't miss a thing. And I gotta tell you, we're talking Hulu right now. A lot of the movies on this list are leaving at the end of the month. This is time sensitive, folks. So let's get into it. Number 10 is Practical Magic, the chick flick of spooky season. And it's kind of hard to actually pin down the actual plot of this movie, so let me try. The Owen sisters are witches living in a small town who face prejudice from the locals while also dealing with a curse that prohibits them from falling in love. This is all about the dynamic between these two sisters who make up a family, and it touches on domestic violence and romance and witchcraft. I remember watching it as a kid and actually kind of being freaked out by this. I was like, ooh, boyfriends are scary. But I just rewatched it, and this movie is such a good time. It is like the ultimate chick flick, and I don't mean that as an insult at all. Repurposing the term right here and now. Practical Magic, such a good movie, such a good October movie, and it is leaving at the end of the month, so you're gonna wanna watch it now. Number 9 is Hearts Beat Loud, a family dramedy starring Nick Offerman and Kiersey Clemons, and in it, a single dad is preparing to send his daughter off to school, and they spend the summer forming a musical act that takes off online. They bond over their music while also preparing for an uncertain future. This is such an adorable little movie. I like my movies filled with sex and violence, but this one is just so damn good, even I couldn't resist its charms. And it's not leaving at the end of the month, so if you need something light to watch, this is a little underseen gem that will definitely make you feel the warm and fuzzies. Number 8 is Spider Hole, a British horror film about 4 art school students who decide to save money on rent by squatting in an abandoned building. Now, for anyone who just doesn't know what squatting is, because I didn't for quite some time, it's basically, you just people hanging out in abandoned buildings. You're homeless, so you find yourself a damn home. The friends think they found the perfect place to crash, but immediately learn that there is a hidden evil lurking behind the walls. Listen, this is not the best horror film. It's like a 2 out of 5. It's not that good, but it is different, and that is what I like about it. The idea of a group of friends being slaughtered in a horror film, not that new, but I do like seeing these characters who are living on the street and trying to get by, and unfortunately find themselves in a pretty horrifying situation. It does veer into torture porn, which I don't really like, but it isn't that graphic. Again, it's not the best, but it's a different kind of horror film to watch, and it's also not leaving. Number 7 is It's a Disaster, an ensemble comedy about a group of friends who gather for Sunday brunch at one of their homes when the city is attacked by a chemical weapon. An immediate quarantine goes into effect, locking the friends in the house as the world might be about to end. Living through the age of Corona, I definitely have a different appreciation for this film. It's a funny little ensemble comedy about friends kind of revealing all of their inner truths and such. It's certainly not in any way like a disaster movie or whatever. Imagine where you were when the lockdowns went into effect earlier this year and you were just stuck there. Assuming you weren't already at your own home, you're maybe at the grocery store or the bar or the sex shop, what have you, but then all of a sudden, you cannot leave. It is a real quarantine and you are stuck there with whoever you are there with. That is the idea that this movie runs with. Number 6 is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, an early 90s teen horror comedy about Buffy, a valley girl who learns that she is the chosen one to be her generation's protector from vampires. She goes from shopping to staking as she transforms into an ass-kicking heroine. This is the basis of the popular television series that would come out later in the 90s, and there are plenty of reasons to watch it just for the sake of it. I mean, there are a bunch of stars in it who appear before they were famous, and that's fun to see. But overall, I think this is a fun little silly teen comedy with horror elements, and it is leaving at the end of the month. But you might want to watch it and then also watch the entire Buffy TV series, which is on Hulu, and you might want to binge that heading into October. Okay, I'm just going to tell you now the top 5, all leaving at the end of the month. All of this stuff is leaving. If you're watching this video 3 months from now, I guess you could go ahead and find one of my newer videos. I would love that a lot. Number 5 is Wanted, a stylish action film based on a comic book series that follows a boring office worker who learns that he is the son of a talented assassin, and he has the same badass killing abilities. He teams up with the sexy and awesome Angelina Jolie, and they go do cool spy stuff. It's all about the visuals and the feel of this movie. It's definitely quite typical. It's a pretty typical action movie, but I remember going to see it in theaters and having a damn good time. Number 4 is 50 First Dates, a romantic comedy set at Hawaii that stars Adam Sandler as a bachelor who falls in love with Drew Barrymore's character. Problem is, she has short-term memory loss and she keeps forgetting about him, so he sets out to make her fall in love with him every single day. This is a very silly and stupid movie, but I do have to say, Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, that chemistry is real. It's just fun to watch them. And while the comedy does aim low in this movie, I think it does capture some sort of charming movie magic. It really is sweet and good-natured, which is something that you don't see a lot in like Adam Sandler movies. So for that reason alone, you're gonna want to watch it. It's also, of course, leaving. It was just added to Hulu. Now it's leaving. Who knows where it's going? Just watch it. Number 3 is Friday the 13th, part 3 and 4, because I had to. I'm not going to be able to talk about these in my next horror on Hulu video, so I gotta talk about them now. You know the drill. A group of young white people head out into the woods and get creatively murdered by the silent but deadly masked maniac Jason Voorhees. I think number 4 is widely considered to be the favorite sequel amongst many Friday the 13th fans, and I have to say, I'm a huge fan. Friday the 13th is my deserted island franchise. I could watch just these movies for the rest of my days. What does that say about me? I don't know or care, but I do want to throw out my unpopular opinion, just to be perfectly honest. I have to say, number 3 is my personal favorite sequel. I love it. I love number 3. A lot of people don't, and I don't get it, because I think part 3 and 4 are like the most Friday the 13th movies. So they're both great. Honestly, I love them all. They're all great. I even like 5. I don't care. They're just fun. So if you can't wait for your collector's edition box set to come in the mail like I can't, you're gonna want to watch these while they're available. Number 2 is The Mask, a goofy action comedy from the 90s that stars Jim Carrey in one of his biggest roles. Stanley is a nerdy bank clerk who discovers an ancient and powerful mask that turns him into a living cartoon when he puts it on. But the 1940s style goons in town are gonna do everything in their power to get rid of him. This is a 90s staple and one of the movies that made me fall in love with Jim Carrey, and I have to admit, I haven't watched this in quite a while, so I'm gonna have to before the end of the month. And number 1 is House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. I got another double whammy for you because I think Rob Zombie's most popular movies, they're gonna be gone. I know, just in time, right? House of a Thousand Corpses is a bizarre throwback to 70s horror that's about a group of friends on a road trip who become sidetracked at a roadside attraction and then become trapped at the crazy Firefly family's home where they are thrust into their world of madness and torture. It's like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre on acid with a bunch of dead naked ladies. The Devil's Rejects makes the Fireflies the protagonists as they hit the road to try and escape the police who are hot on their trail, but that won't stop them from continuing on with their murder spree. I have thoughts on these movies, and so I just have to talk about them, because House of a Thousand Corpses, I have a hard time calling it a good movie. I don't even know if I like it, but it does have the Halloween vibes. It's really one of my favorite Halloween movies, so I'm bummed to see it go. But Rob Zombie's directing style seems to be as abrasive as possible, which just really is not very appealing to me as a fan of entertainment. I mean, I like a lot of dark shit. You'll see if you subscribe and everything. But I just have to say, it is insane to me the way his directing style carries over into the sequel and makes a lot of stuff work that just plain shouldn't. The entire first half of this movie, I think, is very disturbing and graphic, and I had a hard time watching it for the first time. And then with one simple little scene about ice cream, all of a sudden the Fireflies become anti-heroes and we love them. And how on earth does this shift make sense? It shouldn't at all, but it's like you go through all of this disturbing stuff in the beginning and then you're just like, you know, but they're kind of funny. House of a Thousand Corpses has a ton of aesthetic value, which I'm here for, honestly, but The Devil's Rejects somehow manages to hit icon status, and I don't know. It's weird to me. It's interesting. I had to talk about it. I'm done now. Don't worry. That is my list of the best stuff to watch on Hulu in the month of September. Let me know what your favorites are in the comments below. I always love to hear those. Feel free to follow me on Instagram if you're interested. Subscribe if you're interested. I would greatly appreciate it. Duh, who wouldn't? Hello, hi. And also hit that bell so you are notified when I upload, because I'm putting together a whole bunch of creepy, spooky, freaky Halloween stuff that I cannot wait to share with you guys. I love talking about this stuff. It's so much fun. We're gonna have a whole lot of fun heading into October. Thank you so much again for watching this video. I do greatly appreciate it, truly, as always. That's it for this video, but I won't stop you from watching another.